absolutely fantastic. So what I really want to start with, and it's the obvious question, and which is really, how did you notice that you had tinnitus, and how did it occur, and what did you do?
Okay, so I want to frame how I
Good.
noticed, because it leads into or informs how I view tinnitus now. So as a teenager, I would go to the disco, because it
Yeah,
wasn't a club back then, it was a disco.
that's what I call it as well, the disco.
And
Absolutely.
my ears would ring afterwards, but I wouldn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, they ring. And I'd never even heard the word tinnitus. And then I went to college, and there was I cannot remember whether he was in I was in halls of residence, and there was a chap who was also in halls of residence, and he had tinnitus, and it was obviously very troubling for him, because it was about the only thing he ever talked about, and I'd never heard of it before. And I remember being quite scared of the idea of your ears ringing all the time, and he talked about it a lot. And so now I understand that my brain was primed, and I'll come back to that at some point. But anyway, so off I go to Camden Palais, uh, and with my female friends, and I stand there smoking. This is when you could still smoke in clubs. And I know I'm a singer, but I was very young. Sobrani cocktails, thinking I looked super cool, but stood next to the speaker all night. I didn't think about it. I had no idea. I was just standing next to the speakers. So, came out that horrendous sound, and thought, oh shit, it's gonna go, but it didn't. And it was 2 weeks of this really loud noise. And of course, I started to panic, because I thought, oh God, I've got this thing now. I've got this thing called tinnitus. And then I began the journey of going to the doctor, and then going to the audiologist, and the whole thing. And it went on for months, and I was getting more and more anxious about it, and more upset. But how I coped with it was, I went back home to stay with my parents. I think it was probably an Easter holiday, and I was very anxious and upset. And my dad was quite, well, he was a strange mixture of scientist and hippie, and he said something. He said, well, monks, I don't know which monks, can't remember which monks he was talking about, said they meditate, because my dad was into meditation and Tai Chi way ahead of
Brilliant.
everybody else. And they often meditate and deliberately listen to their the ringing in their ears. And this calmed me down. I can't remember. It just took the fear out of it.
Yeah.
And the weird thing was the more so I started sort of meditating and allowing the sound. And the more I meditated and allowed the sound, the less it became, and the less I noticed it. And then I never forgot about it, because it would spike, and obviously if I was in really, really loud environments, it would spike. But I thank God for that one statement that my dad made, because I know that people suffer really badly, and the anxiety is appalling that comes with tinnitus.